You can see that this is your math syllabus for 4024, and there are total a lot of topics, 42, and the first one is numbers. So we do it like a quick recap. In numbers, what they will give you, you should know that how to convert the percentages into decimals or fractions. Then decimals, if the value is given like in decimals, what should I do? Like it's a common thing, very easy, but still we have to know it. Like if it is written like 2% and you want to convert this into fraction, you should be writing 2 upon 100. If it is 0.04%, then it means that we are going to write down 4 upon, first of all, better to write 0.04 upon 100, and then it will be equals to 4 upon 10,000. So this is basically the first topic, numbers, right? So in which we have to convert, like if it is given like 2 upon 5 and convert this into percentage, here we multiply. So when we convert a fraction or decimal into percentage, we have to multiply by 100. And when a percentage is given and you have to convert this into fractions, you divide by 100. Acha, all sorts of numbers are there. We should know that what are square numbers, what are cube numbers. I'm discussing the first one, numbers. So in that, for example, if I say cube number, the cube numbers are the cubes, perfect cubes of the numbers, whole numbers. The cube of 1 is 1, the cube of 2 is 8, 27, 64. So these are basically the cubes, the cube numbers. If we talk about the square numbers, it is 4, 1, 4, 9, 68. Another thing which we have to remember, that what are rational numbers? Rational numbers can be written in the form of a fraction and ratio, and they give you a complete answer like 1 upon 2 is 0.5. So these are rational numbers. The another thing which I told you also, that there's a 22 upon 7, yes, square root 2. They are known as the irrational numbers. And irrational numbers are non-terminating numbers. Non-terminating because their value will always continue and we cannot find out its value, like the exact value. So it will continue. They are irrational numbers. Okay. Next, we see that squares, cube roots, and the stuff is given. For example, just remember that if it is given as 0.09, we don't have the calculator. How we are going to find out the square root of 0.09? Technique is to write down this in as a form of fraction. So 3 upon 10. And we can write the answer as 0.3. So these are the more important things related to these. Uh, just say, for example, the uh, things given for directed numbers. Directed numbers means the variation in temperature, for example. If they say that the temperature in the night is 4 degrees minus 4, and in the day it is plus 6 degrees, what is the difference between the temperatures? So they say that find out the range. So that is, what do you do? Maximum minus minimum. This is the meaning of directed numbers. The topics which you are looking at the screen right now is a list of the topics, that all the topics which are there in 4024, your math syllabus for O levels. So we do maximum minus the minimum. Be careful about the sign. Your answer is 10 degrees. So this is the way, these are the things which are there in the directed numbers. Next is vulgar and decimal fractions. Vulgar fractions are basically very funny name, that they are not vulgar in nature. Basically, what they do, they are the numbers which are in the simplest form, like 2 upon 3, which cannot be simplified further. So they are known as the vulgar fraction. ठीक? Although the name doesn't suit them because they are in the simple form. So they are simple people, right? So why they are vulgar? I don't get it, but still. Okay. And decimal fractions, percentages, I already told you. Ordering, very important. There will always be one question on ordering in your paper one. What do they do? They give you fraction, decimal, and uh, percentages, all sorts of stuff, and then you have to find out. You have to write down the uh, you know fractions and these numbers from maximum to minimum, maximum to minimum, for example, or minimum to maximum. It's depending upon the question. Minimum to maximum is called as the ascending order. Maximum to minimum is known as the descending order. These two things you have to remember. Acha, another thing which you have to do is, if, for example, if you get in half, minus zero point 0.2 and 20%, and you have to arrange them in the order minimum to maximum. So what we are going to do, just wait. So either you convert everything into fractions with the same denominator or decimals, it's up to you. So what I do generally, that I write down over here, maybe it is convenient to write 0.5 minus zero point 0.2, and 20% is 20 upon 100, right? So it is 0.5 minus 0.2 and 0.2. So if I arrange it from the minimum to maximum, it will be minus 0.2, zero point 0.2, and 0.5. Again, what do we call it? Ascending order. So these are the things which are related to ordering. Next is standard form. Standard form is a into 10 raised to the power n, where a is between 1 to 9.99. Very simply, if the number is written like this, then how to write in the standard form? 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 to the power 5. If the same thing is written like in a decimal, for example, 0.009, now you will be writing 9 into 10 raised to the power minus 1, 2, 3 decimal places you have moved. So 10, 9 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. This is standard form. I already told you that the standard form of a plus b, a minus b, ab, and a divided by b, where a and b, the values will be given to you. In case of addition, in case of subtraction, what is the rule? We make the powers same, and then we take out the powers common. When there is multiplication and division, it becomes really very easy. For example, 2 to the power 10 raised to the power 4 plus multiplied by 3 to the power 10 6. I have taken a very simple example. 2 3 is a 6, 10, 4 plus 6, and you will get the answer 6 into 10 to the power of 10. So this is multiplication. Example of division in standard form. Very simple. Let's take an easy example. For example, if it is given 3 into 10 raised to the power minus 4 divided by, let's say, 6 into 10 to the power minus 5, then the number is written like this: 10 minus 4 plus 5. We apply the rules of indices. So we get 0.5 into 10 raised to the power 1. So we can also write 5.0 into 10 raised to the power. Now, if we are writing down the standard form, we are increasing the number. So we have to decrease the power. And when we decrease the power, actually it becomes 5.0 into 10 raised to the power 0. So actually it is equals to 5.0. So basically, the main aim is to tell you that in case of multiplication and division, we apply the uh, rules of indices, but in case of addition and division, we just make sure that we are going to make the powers same and take the powers common. Then we have the eight number, the four operations. So you have seen many times that they give a question where you should know the board math techniques. Uh, and in the modern mathematics now it is called as bid math, where I'll tell you that what are the abbreviations they use. For example, if it is written, I have taken a small example. We divide first, as you know, so we get 20, and then we add 7 to it. So that is 27. First of all, we do the brackets off, then we solve the indices, any power which is given that we are going to solve. And then we divide, then multiply, and divide, multiply, then addition, and then at the end it is subtraction. Remember, students, in Pakistan, many students don't know what is bid mass. They know what is board mass. Bid mass kya hai? Brackets of indices, that means power, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So this is the four operations. Limits of estimation. Estimation, they can give a question like, for example, they give you 927, for example, a number. We don't have the calculators, remember that, and they say estimate. Now, 927 is not a perfect square, but the number closer to it is 900, which is a perfect square. So what you can do to find out that is 30 multiplied by 30 is 900, right? So you can write down the answer as 30. Very common type of a question for estimation. Okay. Next thing is limits of accuracy. Very important. They will definitely give a question on upper bound and lower bound. I'll quickly tell you, for example, if uh, there is a length given to you 40 centimeters, correct to the nearest centimeter, and you have to find out the upper bound. What do? We take the half of the corrected value. Half of the corrected value is what? It is nearest centimeter. So half of 1, that is 0.5 centimeters. So for the upper bound, you will add this value, 0.5. You are going to get 40.5 centimeters. If you want to get the lower bound, for example, lower bound, then this lower bound will be 40 minus 0.5, which is equals to 39.5. So this is the upper bound and the lower bound. In the upper bound, we add the adjustment. Yeah, this is adjustment which we do, adjustment. And how we have obtained it? Half of the corrected value. It was given correct to the nearest centimeter. So half of the corrected value. Okay, the thing which we have to remember now for ratio, I gave you a question. Ratio, just say for example, two boys or two values are given 5:3, for example, and they say in quantity, the difference between A and B in quantity wise is, let's say, $20. Maybe they are sharing some amount of money, and the difference between them is $20. It means that what is the difference in the ratio? Two parts, right? So two parts actually represents how much? $20, because they have said that the difference between the two quantities is $20. So two parts is 20. What will be one part equals to? 20 upon 2, which is equals to 10. If I want to know that what is the total amount shared by these two people, we take the sum of the ratio. The sum of the ratio is 5 plus 3 equals to 8. So 8 parts will be equals to 8 multiplied by 10, which is equals to $80. So this is the thing which they always give related to the ratio questions. Refer to the questions which we have done in the class. Many different types of questions are there in your notebook. Then rate means, for example, a person is typing 160 words in 2 minutes. Find the rate per minute. Rate per minute. Rate of typing per minute. Say it. Rate of typing per minute. So it will be 160 upon 2. This is an example of rate. So what is the answer? 80 words per minute. So I just gave you a simple example that what is the meaning of rate actually. Okay. Secondly, we have uh, use of electronic percentages are already done. Proportion may I should tell you that this is the expression for direct proportion. This is the expression for indirect proportion. This is direct and this is indirect. One very important thing, whenever we solve the direct and inverse proportion questions, we always find the value of k first. We always find out the value of k first. Upper bound is, no one is asking about upper bound. Upper bound, we add the adjusted value. An adjustment is half of the corrected value. Half of the corrected value. Okay. So this is direct proportion. We find out the value of k first, and then we approach the question. So in proportion, this is important. Percentage use of electronic calculator. This means that you have to take out the square. You know how to find out the squares, the square roots, solving fractions with the calculator. Of course, this will be related to your uh, uh, related to paper two. Now we come to the uh, portion of time, for example. Time, there are two types of clocks which you have to remember. One is known as the 24-hour clock. The other one is the 12-hour clock. 24-hour clock, mein you must have seen it is written 2300 hours. 2300 hours. So you this 2300 hours actually, if you convert this into 12-hour clock, it will be 11 p.m. night. 11 p.m. night in the 12-hour clock. So this conversion you have to remember. If it is written 0 hours, so this is a 24-hour clock. This means 12 a.m. We say it as 12 a.m. morning, but actually in Pakistan, what do we see? It is the night time, right? Midnight, jisko bolte hain, midnight. So you should be remembering this 12-hour clock and 24-hour clock. Acha, in business, finance and transactions, remember the simple interest formula and compound interest formula. So simple interest is really a simple formula, that is PRT upon 100. And for compound interest, remember a very important point, that compound interest actually is a formula for its amount. So we say amount is equals to principal brackets 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power T, where T is the time, rate is always in percent. Or principal, you know the amount deposited or borrowed. Agar, for example, this is the example of compound interest, right? If they ask you find the compound interest which the person has achieved, that is not equals to the amount. क्या करना पड़ेगा? We have to find out that compound interest. ये जो the principal amount will be subtracted from the amount which you are getting from the formula. Amount minus the principal, and that will give you the value of the compound interest which you have got. Take, they have never given a question like this, maybe once or twice. Generally, they ask you that what is the amount at the end of 5 years, 6 years, 7 years in the compounder. So you should know how to. Many students struggle to find this out with the calculator. So make sure that you have enough practice of these. Uh, One very important thing I should tell you, you have your copies of grade 11 O3. We start with statistics. That was the first topic I remember. So for if you revise, all the things related to statistics are there. Then you go to vectors. All the things related to vectors are there. Then you go to the third topic, transformations. All the things related to transformation are there. So it is in a sequence. It will be a crime if you don't follow your copy. 80% of the questions are basic questions. 80% of the questions are basic questions in paper one and in paper two. We are always saying that do the difficult questions. No, make your basic strong, and you will see you will surprise yourself with the result. 80% is basic, 80%. So you should be getting a good grade if you are good in solving the equations, expanding indices, all these things. Acha, algebraic representation. Before that, I will uh, do tell you that what is important in indices because many students struggle. For example, the students really struggle in a question like this: 9 to the power 3 upon 2. I will write 3 to the power 2, 3 upon 2. 2 and 2 cancels out. What is left? 3 to the power 3, which is equals to 27. You got your answer. You should know how to manipulate indices. I gave a very easy question. For example, I gave it a question like this, and you people have to solve this question. Was very simple, like 3 and 6 cancels out. We left with half. X to the power 7 minus 4, y to the power 3 minus 2. We apply the rules of indices. When the same bases are multiplied, powers are added. When the same bases are divided, powers are subtracted. So we get x to the power 3 upon 2, y to the power 1. This is your answer. Another thing which is important to note, for example, if it is written in the indices like this means that x to the power 4 and y to the power 6. Both the powers will multiply with the whole power. I think you should know that 2 to the power 0 or any number to the power 0 is always 1. The thing where the students really struggle is the negative index. Negative indices, we cannot find the answer until unless we take the reciprocal and the outer power will become positive. So it is 9 upon 4, something we solve like this. Another thing which is very important, for example, if it is written 2 to the power x, and on the other side, let's say x plus 7, and on the other side, it is written 32. We have to make the bases same. How to make the bases same? X plus 7 equals to 2 to the power is 5 is 32. So now the bases are same. We can write x plus 7 equals to 5. X equals to 5 minus 7. X equals to negative 2. This is the way we get the value of x. Okay. So this was basically okay. And then I told you that, for example, if uh, the thing which is given over here, algebraic representation and formula, subject of the formula, there will uh, always there will be one question on algebraic equations formula, subject of the formula. So a square plus 7, for example, is given as y minus w, and you have to make a the subject. So what I'm going to do, I'll shift everything on the other side. and then this is a square, right? So I'll take plus minus y minus w minus 7. And this is your subject of the formula. Which subject of formula? A. We have made the. Okay. I hope this is helpful. If it is helpful, please write in the chat. We just have 4 students today. I'm just ending. Maybe your doubts have been cleared. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad that you joined. This will continue tomorrow as well. Okay. Looking at the syllabus. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.